Mohammed. Yeah, that's good.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Muhammad Shalan, VP Professional Development in PMI KSA, Saudi chapter. We are very happy today to invite you for a very great lecture about process mining and project management, a winning team. This lecture will be given by Mr. Dawood Moya. Mr. Dawood is having 25 years of IT experience in different organizations, small and big organizations. He also has been a very global leader in banks in automating their digital operations. During his time, he gained extensive experience in designing the leading large digital transformation journeys. Today, Dawood is principal at Datacom, management consultancy and technology services provider operating across the Middle East with offices in Saudi Arabia and UAE. Without further ado, please, it's yours, Dawood.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me just start sharing my screen. Give me some seconds, please. 1 second. So. And can you confirm that my screen can be seen, please?
Yes.
Sure. Thank you very much. So thank you, everyone. I'm really excited to be today in this webinar with PMI Saudi chapter. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk and discuss about process mining and how process mining can help you, ladies and gentlemen, in your digital transformation journey and in the project management field. I really strongly believe that the benefits that you can get in the daily practice of project management, leveraging process mining and task mining, it's really a huge differentiator. This is the first session of a series. We would like to have more sessions in the future, inshallah, with PMI. And also, we would like to invite everyone to contact us. You have my email and our website to help you in implementing and advising and helping. At the end, we are just here as a common fellows to help the kingdom and the overall society to have more efficient processes and to have a better customer experience with less resources and overheads. Without any delay, I'm just gonna go through the agenda where we're gonna discuss about the challenges with process improvement initiatives, and also about the process mining, which is a potential approach to overcome those challenges, and the importance that project management has for process and task mining. The challenges that we have when it comes to process improvement initiatives, we all know that there's a high chance of failure. And this is, of course, the major risk. There are biggest challenges in the quality and accuracy of the outcomes. Another situation that we may face is the inaccurate process analysis. A traditional approach struggles to provide a real actual process status and struggle to monitor real-time process performance. At the end, is the high resource effort for process analysis. Normally, it requires a reasonable amount of effort of process specialists and SMEs to complete process analysis. Today, we have a new design and is already old today. Process designs are outdated. The speed of change nowadays in execution supersedes the speed of change in design. Process mining is a disruptive technology that started, remember, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We are still evangelizing sometimes. Last year, we have seen an increase of the knowledge of the overall public, but still there are some persons that practitioners who are not familiar, which is fine. It's good that we have the right technology now, which is pretty mature when it comes to process mining and task mining, to help us overcoming those challenges. What is process mining? In a nutshell, is a data-driven process analysis and monitoring approach. Which are the benefits of process mining? To enable business to improve more efficiently and effectively and efficiently. The critical success factors. We ensure to have the raw ingredients in place to make process mining initiatives successful. Let's see about the use case. Or where can we apply use case? You will think any kind of organization. But basically, process mining is particularly used for industry generating a large number of logs, data flow companies such as finance, telecoms, health, or retail industries. This is the main target or the main candidate for this technology. It makes it possible to use the enormous flows of information generated daily by the activity to detect the major pitfalls, such as bottlenecks in the process or stage or process interruption, and propose process improvements. These process improvements will generate productivity or potential sources of income that are hidden or poorly exploited. At the end, we rely on data, and this is what all the organizations nowadays have, data. Wherever we have a large organization with many different systems from different flavors, factors, manufacturers, all of them, will be generating logs that we can use to leverage, rely on those logs to feed the process mining technology and to automatically represent those graphics that you can see right now on the screen on the right-hand side. So how it works? It's 3 major steps: discovery, analysis, and optimizations. All those logs that I was mentioning, and this is the most sensitive part, to be able to gather the logs, and of course, this is a teamwork between the consultant or the team, the process mining or the digital transformation team, or the project management team, and the different IT sections, departments in the company. So we need to get access to those logs, or the IT department needs to provision those logs in a specific manner, so we can feed those logs into the technology. And once the data is loaded, a set of specialized process discoveries and analysis tools are available to identify new automation opportunities on scale and automatically. And this is simply amazing. If you have not seen yet process mining, you will be really surprised. Process mining is a data-driven approach that uses the organization to generate those process flows, charts, and insights. It's a set of effective tools which helps process professionals to analyze, design, simulate, and monitor processes. It can also generate monitoring in real time and prevent potential compliance issues and large fines, penalties for banking sector. We have seen this in Europe, and we help different financial institutions to avoid those leakage, those penalties, those compliance issues that would run into a millionaire fines. So once we see those, once we feed those logs into a system, you can have all those charts showing the reality of the process based on the data. It's data-driven, as I mentioned, and we have 2 approaches. One is the top-down system-based approach. When we rely on the data from the systems, we read those logs, and we visualize, we transform the data into process into process workflows, maps, visualizing all the different itinerations in the life cycle of each of the sequences of the given process. Okay, just think about any process, accounts to pay, or order to cash, or whatever. Just think about anyone. This is the top down that we call it. But then we have another one that is bottom up, which is we leverage on task mining. What happened is that was 4 or 5 years ago when process mining was started to be really on a trend. I remember we were going to customers, large systems integrators. We were still evangelizing about process mining, and at some point we were questioning it about how we can represent data that has not been yet generated, like a user interacting with Outlook. That's why at the end the manufacturers of those technologies, they started to implement task mining, which is basically a monitor. It's like a robot recorder that you can install in any desktop or laptop that basically generates traces from the activity of the user. And this record generates the data that then later is fitted into the system to have the visual representation of what is, like the full picture, not only the data from the servers, but also the activity that he's doing. This is a really disruptive technology, which is really showing, the black holes that sometimes we have, the gaps that we have in the process flows. Why process mining? Process mining, we see that extends business intelligence to operation intelligence. It's a completely different perspective. We address the root cause aspects. In the traditional business intelligence, we focus on what has happened. We have a workflow, flow charts showing what has happened. But when it goes to the how and why is this happening, when it comes to what caused the issue and how can I fix it, how do we improve and what are the benefits, and how do we track post-implementation, this is where process mining, task mining can help you. It's a common scenario. It's when different RPA, Robot Process Automation Center of Excellence, are relying on our services and technology to run a previous analysis at the beginning of the projects, of discovery phase. Then they identify different projects, they execute the different projects, and at the end they run again this analysis to show and demonstrate to management that the return of the investment that they managed to generate. This is a perfect tool to demonstrate internally the value of your work and how effective it's all the different projects that are being kicked off as a result of this analysis. When it comes to customer experience, it's extremely customer focused. This is another screenshot that you can see from one of the tools. We can see the average cycle time of one iteration, one sequence, the number of touch points that has been going through, the total cost served for period, or the average cost of customer journey. At the end, it's a huge amount of data that is being not collected, but visualized, represented, and put it together in a way that it makes sense, and it really generates value. Forget about the post-its, in those walls, and identifying the different steps. Yes, this might be done in the very initial stage, but nowadays we have this technology to help us in the daily tasks. You can see on the right-hand side the different insights, the graphic representation of each customer journey, quantity, identifying key customer touch points, etc., and the opportunities that we can generate, that we can get from that. Reducing and simplifying the touch points is a right one. It's one that it comes very easily. Identifying bottlenecks impacting cycle times and high-cost customer journeys. Analyzing rework to eliminate repeat touch points causing delays, and identifying automation opportunities. It's just a few of the unlimited opportunities as we can find in a given process. Then we have the one way that, at the end, we want to do our best to standardize the process standardization, right? And we can do that, for instance, in the insights that we can have like 60% of the customer requests move through to completion by following 28 different paths. The remaining 27% have followed 112 different paths, which is a big, huge difference. It's a reason, very good reason to start digging and investigating. And we always say that process mining is a detective work. Really helps you digging into a company and moving to surface the inefficiencies. It's a painful journey for the company in the sense that inefficiencies come up, and you need to, my recommendation, you really have to have sponsor executive support to apply changes if you want to really get the most from the technology and from your work. But we have seen very good examples and success stories where this has really impacted, saving millions of dollars when it comes to process optimization. More opportunities that you can find: increase process standardization levels, reduce manual processing efforts, identify automation quick wins. This is very good for ensuring to helping the RPA Center of Excellence to ensure their living. What happened is that when the RPA, there was a boom, I think it was like 8 years back, the robot process automation teams were created in the companies and started to automate the low-hanging fruits, the easy cases to automate. We, after a few years, now we've seen every time more and more that the robot process automation teams are running out of ideas or use cases, and this ends up in difficulties to justify the existence. So this is a challenge, of course, in the organization, because robot process automation is an excellent tool to automate, to speed up, to optimize, and to save money and increase efficiency. So process mining comes to complement and to help those RPA teams to identify more, automation candidates, and also to measure and to justify once again the outcome of the work of the different projects that they execute. So reducing manual processing efforts, identifying automation quick wins, performance management, and upskilling of new team members, and ensuring process controls carried out in line with the standard operating procedure. Another very hot and important topic is conformance and compliance. And I was referring to compliance before. I'm coming from Europe myself. I'm relocated to GCC 3 years back because of the amazing momentum that this region is going through. And I was amazed. I fell in love with the region. So I think it's a greenfield in some ways. And but coming from Europe, where we have a very strict compliance regulation, we have been going through the pains of really having to adapt to those compliance, and which are very strict and very costly if you are not in control in our organization of the procedures and the potential data leaks or non-compliance. If you don't do certain checks, it can be really painful. So back to the insights, process mining can help you monitor and analyzing the status of operation controls across the day-to-day activities. And the opportunities is that we have real-time monitoring in operation controls. We can confirm that are completed, are in the right sequence, and by the right people. And we can establish a process-aware operating environment. But operating control is an orchestration, and compliance is a really sensitive and important topic in not only financial, but also in other verticals. We continue with the simplification, optimization, and automate. We have a better way. With process mining, we can create a digital twin of the given process, having the current set, and as you can see on the highlight, how the process will behave once the modifications will be applied. So it gives you some kind of a sandbox to play around and to find the best configuration or implementation that can help you improving the result in the direction or the metrics in the direction that your projects you want to go. When it comes to Insight, manual credit decisioning increases average cycle time by 2.7 days. The cost of staff manually entering invoice data is 237 per annum, or 48% of our operators' day is taken up with manual data entry. Okay, if we find those insights, we have different opportunities, which is dramatically improve customer experience. Over the past 6 months, 130,000 hours processing effort could have been saved through automation. That's a huge amount of hours. And automation of manual data entry activities would have saved over 120,000 per annum and return 8,000 hours of effort and time back into the finance department. This is what we can do with the simulation. We call it the different modules within the technology that can help us in this kind of exercise. At the end, we want to deliver value to our customers and to our partners. And delivering value goes beyond process mining. Process mining is one tool, excellent tool and technology that can help us in our journey. But we have, this is like an opener for, a multiple unlimited projects that can be kicked off within the organization. And that can really help you generating this value. We can see in the center of the screen that can be applied in governments like administration, in customer service, also in supply chain, finance, legal, HR, operations, sales, just name it, residential, commercial, or government sectors. When it comes to the process and task mining tools, we have those out-of-the-box process analysis with instantly maps, visualizing end-to-end process, identifying process variations, dynamic data-driven fact-based identification of bottlenecks, errors or rework, and unnecessary touch points. The operational intelligence metrics and dashboards are there to help you and to show the stakeholders in the company the reality of what is happening. And when it comes to the process automation, it helps identify errors and efficiency that can be automated, capture user desktops interactions, and identify user tasks that can be automated. It direct exports of process design documents as well is important, and JSON files for deep understanding how work is carried out. And this is simply with one click from the platform, it can generate this document for you. At the end, we are driven by values, by the outcome, business outcomes. This will generate and enable best-in-class business processes, reducing customer journey process variations one way, reduce it, rework, queue, bottlenecks, identification, increasing the identification and qualification of process improvements, opportunities to go for a better way, and increase time to value in delivery of process automations, enabling best-in-breed process automation and eliminating user desktop interaction, task variances like in the same way. If we go to the right part of the slide, we can see that the process mining, it also helps with the process execution monitoring, mapping the end-to-end customer journey, execution analysis, monitoring key customer experience touchpoints and metric performance, process pattern monitoring, predictive analysis. Right? This is really interesting, the predictive analysis engine that we can have, which will help you forecasting, preventing potential behaviors, and informing through real-time alerting, invoking integration capabilities with digital workers / RPAs, or web service for closed loops resolution. Last but not least, risk and operational compliance control. The real-time operational control analysis and the predictive, again, analysis across key operational controls, allows us to have a good control overall in the organization and prevent potential situations that would end up in penalties, fines, or even in major problems. We still rely on through real-time alerting and operational intelligence dashboards and metrics. Last but not least, enable a best class in process-aware operational, reduce operation breach and risks, increase process conformance, increase operational efficiency, decreasing operational costs and effort associated with manual SLA monitoring and measurement. Decrease operation supervision requirements and reduce process analytics reporting efforts. Outcomes. Let's go to the process discovery outcomes. I'm not checking the chat at the moment, but we will have some time to go for the questions. Yeah, yeah, okay. I'm just checking. I'm just doing a quick check on the chat. Salam to everybody. Okay. So go back to the slide. Slides. Process discovery outcomes. We were identifying or separating like process mining into task mining. Process mining relies on the data from the system, when task mining relies on the data that the user generates, right? So we can, when we go for the process mining part, we can, at the end, we want to eliminate the standardize, optimize, automate, and robotize, right? Automate using robots. This is one of the ways and one of the most efficient ways to ensure that the task and the process are running smoothly. Then on top of that, we can talk about monitoring those robots, etc. But we can talk about customer experience and the value and business outcomes, achieving right-sized customer experience and reduce cycle times by 20 or 30%, which is an important percentage. Then when it comes to process variation and reduction, to drive process conformance and process variation reductions from 5 to 10% or even more. Then if we continue with the process improvement and lean, reducing non-value process steps by 5 to 10%, decreasing rework efforts by 30-50% are important percentage to consider, which are outcomes and benefits of applying process discovery, leveraging process mining and task mining. When it comes to the task mining part, the process automation will gain 10 to 15%. It's like average per process. In some cases, it can be much more. It really will be less. And then improve delivery turnaround by 20-30%. And process improvement effort for reduction by 50%, automatic data gathering, which is quite significant, and focus on value-added activities by process specialists. Overall, at the bottom, you can see extensive overview of company processes, process optimization, time and cost saving, and focus more on core business. And at the end, as a human, we have other more valuable tasks, which are more kind of working within the organization, trying to talk to the right stakeholders, data owners to help, continue the investigations and in the projects within the corporation. Just go, continue. Oops. Let me see. Okay, thank you. So P2P end-to-end process and sub-process. Here we can see an example. When it comes to when we start to analyze a given process using process mining, we don't need to go to the full process at once. We recommend to go on a smaller chunks, like parts, go phase to phase or milestone by milestone, stage by stage, For instance, here we are focusing on spend creation and approval of POs, right? And we can see that there are 4 different stages: create PR, create PO, approve PO, and send PO. And the pain points is the PO approval delays, POs raised without PRs, and optimized payment terms. Only here we have a universe, as I say. It's where we can start digging and with the results of the information that we are loading into the system is where we're gonna identify those pain points, inefficiencies, and recommend or do our recommendations to ensure process conformance and to identify those automation opportunities that will end up in automation projects. Once those automation projects will reduce the cost and will ensure the process conformance and increase efficiency, then we can go to the real-time performance monitoring. Process mining is not only to discover, execute, and improve. It can also stay to ensure that everything runs as expected, as you define in your project. We can see on the screen that different stages that we can go and other pain points that we could discover or work on in different stages. In any kind of project in life or daily lives, the importance of project management and process mining, for me, it's a teamwork between the end customer and the IT, the business owners, the ITs, and it's at the end is a new approach for analysis and design, and we use this technology for this purpose, and we organize. As you can see, I was mentioning this before. The project in phases. We execute the process mining initiatives through proper project management. And this is your specialty, so you know better than I how to organize and orchestrate this flow of different iterations of projects or milestones. Setting up project teams, selecting the right team members for your projects when you're using process mining, to me is key. When it comes to the analysis, it's important to obtain a highly accurate actual process view and a real reflection of the actual process execution. The benefits that we're gonna get is highly accurate, capturing all variations, fast turnaround analysis, an efficient approach with less effort required and less subjective. There are no hypotheses here. Everything is relying on data. Those are facts, not hypotheses. And when it comes to the forecast engine, prediction engine, yes, this is like projection. This is true, but it's not. Again, it's based on data. You can see here an animation of this workflow of this process diagram, and it's very, when you show this to customers, it really they get impressed by the how efficiency we are using the data that they already have. We don't need to do anything new. We just need to collect the data, involve the right persons, and just load it into the systems. There's a different screenshots of the flow. The process mining cycle, it's 6 questions answered with process intelligence. Point number 1, process discovery. What is really happening during the execution of my processes? Point number 2, initial analysis. What, when, where are the issues, bottlenecks, wastes, inconsistency, and rework? Point number 3, determine the why of each performance issue. 4, improvement opportunities. What are the prioritized process and automation improvements opportunities that I can apply? 5th, benefit estimates. What are the estimated cost savings and customer impacts after improvements? And the 6th, conformance checking. Does our improved workflow remain in compliance with best practice processes? Those are the main questions that we can answer with process intelligence. When it comes to setting up your project, as we were discussing, project should be broken into specific phases, with every phase having a set of related project activities. A sequential phases approach is more appropriate than an overlapping one. Cleansing data before it's fully available or doing analysis before the dashboards are finalized is not very expedient. The project's approach should be developed to reflect the aims, requirements, and uncertainty that the project has strategic planning and kickoff. We define what the direct outcomes should be in the short term, what impact process mining should have in the long term, and who is going to be responsible to leverage the insights generated by process mining, process intelligence. Data extraction and processing. Agreement on data to be used or required for the analysis extraction from the information system and assurance of appropriate data quality. Process mining and analysis, the discovery of the real analysis, of the real process analysis of performance and interactions between people involved, check conformity, root case analysis, and more. Then refining and enhancement, define business-oriented questions and requirements to create and enhance analysis basis on the findings of the previous phase. Realization and action, leveraging insights by involving relevant stakeholders, for instance, responsible managers or process owners, and enabling improvement and change by providing precise information. Process management is key. Applying process management methodologies for process mining initiatives is really key to ensure the success of those initiatives. And finally, the project phases are set up in different project stages, as we mentioned before. Setting up your team is key when it comes to the different individuals, skills that they should have. Data and process mining expertise, it's a new skill for any process mining project. It's needed, it is mandatory for us to have these individuals in our team. And process experts are normally upskilled. Lean Six Sigma expertise is a plus, and it's combined with process mining capabilities. The different roles like project manager, of course, business analyst, process mining expert, data engineers, and process engineers are all from the family that needs to be working together to ensure this project is going to achieve the goals and the targets that the organization and the process management team it's setting. When it comes to the critical success factors, we have project management approach. We require the project management approach essential for process mining initiatives, structured, agile, and systematic, but flexible approach. And activities have to be structured and time-bound specifically around data providing. Data providing is the most critical part in these kind of projects where we want to leverage process mining. We know the famous garbage in, garbage out is really important in this case as well to ensure that we have the right data logs with the right key fields, information that is going to generate a vision, a visualization that makes sense and that reflects the reality of the hidden processes that are going within the organization. Back to the process mining expertise. Process mining is a new capability, quite new, which requires specific skills. Process managers have to make sure to have appropriate process mining experts on the team to become successful. Process mining SMEs do have the skills to use the process mining software as well as indeed experience in data acquisition activities. And we go to the data acquisition approach because it's the most critical activity in those kind of initiatives, as I mentioned. It requires experience and skills to collaborate with the different stakeholders to gather data. In most organizations, data is highly structured and stored in different locations. Available data might not fulfill requirements for process mining. In many projects that we have started with and we have been working with, those kind of activities drive us to starting different projects where we need to apply, optical character recognition or machine learning when it comes to natural language processing for Arabic. This is something that we are doing currently to unlock this information that was not accessible in the past, and it was creating uncertainty. I mean, a black hole in all the organization, because we didn't know, or the organization didn't know what was happening in this given step. So again, it's process mining is a detective work. You're really discovering what is going on the organization. Just to give one comment about something that happened. I remember I was in a company, and I was doing one assessment, and when we loaded the data, the workflow, the visualization was showing different variations. And I remember one of the stakeholders of the company was basically saying, no, it's impossible. We don't do the things like that. No? This is a common situation. Unfortunately, nowadays in the organization, there is an ASIS that it's supposed to be, but the reality is that there are many variations that get lost within the organization, and those variations are really consuming time and resources in the organization. And at the end, this is money. So key messages I would like to please for you to take away. Process mining provides a higher quality in analysis. Forget about the manual post-its and visualization. This relies on data. Process mining expertise required, but we have the skills. This is in place. Data acquisition approach is the key for success. The critical part of the data acquisition and access. That's why it's important to have top management sponsorship, so they can order IT systems to provide you with the data that will be needed. And project management, ladies and gentlemen, it's extremely key and important to ensure that the initiatives are delivered on time and within budget. Those would be the takeaways, like the key messages. Of course, we'll be happy to start, open collaborations. Those that know me, that I'm not a fan of PowerPoint presentations, just one way, conversation, because I think the value really is when we start discussing about processes, about stages, about from where we need to get the data, how we later automate to do the cost reduction. This is really, we at Datacom at least, we love to engage with the customers or with the partners or with the consultants to understand, because at the end we need to have this interaction with the humans, with business owners, and with the project management consultants to, as a teamwork, do this work together. And at the end, we're just gonna try to improve. As I mentioned before, those kind of improvements sometimes are painful. I remember we faced one situation where we identified that on a purchase department, the same POs were approved by the same person that created the PO, which was a compliance issue. And suddenly the organization or some users started to push down to hide this information. We are not here to open cases or to punish anyone. We are in the organizations leveraging this technology to help improving, to identify those efficiencies, to resolve them, to mitigate them. And at the end is this is the main objective from my point of view. And I'm going to stop talking 41 minutes, and I'm going to open for the QA. I think it's now time for that. I see that someone has already requested to paste the questions in the chat. So I'm going to keep silent now to allow
Thank you very much for this insightful presentation. I have one question until we have a question from people. My question actually is, let's take it the other way around. How we can utilize the WBS in project management, or the tasks that's done in project management, and have data mining on that data. So we benefit from what's happening in the project, especially within large projects. How we can utilize this WBS or work breakdown structure to utilize data and to generate opportunities out of this.
Say it again, because I didn't catch the beginning of the question, Mr. Mohammed. How we can
utilize the work breakdown structure or the tasks in the project, so that we make a process mining.
Okay, right. So yeah, I think in that way, I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how we can apply the other way around, to be honest. Because if you have a defined, project management, like the task of the governance, at the end, we need to try to merge the two worlds. At the end, the process mining, we can visualize the process to confirm and to confirm, do this kind of confirmation that it's matching with the current design of the process. I don't know if I'm getting right the question, but the process that you have designed in the organization, right? We can, if we go deeper into when it comes to the business process automation, orchestration, and compliance, then we need to involve third parties, other technologies, to integrate. I think now I understand, to integrate the three worlds. One is, here we are talking about data, but then if from the process management, if we are talking about procedures, standardization, and how to link both worlds, I think we need a third party, which would be like a business process management, and another technology that will modify when you change the definition of a given process, will also trigger a change in the business process itself to modify the data or the documentation that is linked to this process. I don't know if it's making sense, but it's reminding me, we are talking to two different customers that are requesting for this specific scenario, how to link processes, okay, with the process definition, with also the legislation that is linked to this process, and how we can govern everything together from a centralized location. Is it making sense, or am I getting lost?
Yes, actually, I think yes. Maybe we can discuss it further later on and see, because we have some questions for utilizing of AI or something like this. So
it's a great question, Mr. Mohammed. I think you're spot on, and I think this is a very strong topic nowadays. Nowadays in this world of super excess of information, I would say, or we need to be able to synchronize and to put control measures to try to put some order in such a vast amount of data process and regulations that needs to be followed.
Yes, actually, yes, there is a lot of opportunities now. Okay, we have one question. What is the difference between the role of business analyst and process mining expert?
Business analyst, for me, it's the person that is seated with the business team to analyze the process, and to define like the Cs and as it has to be, right? The process mining expert is the person that is more tied to the process and to the data gathering, to me. So the process mining expert will be working with the data engineers as well, to select, to transmit what is needed from the business part, and collect the right data that can be fed into the process mining to provide this visibility, this visualization to the business analyst team.
Okay, great insights. Do you have any questions? If anyone need to open the mic for him, we can just raise your hand and we can open the mic for you in case you need to ask the question immediately. We have a question from Mrs. Hajar, Engineer Hajar, actually, is about how AI can be utilized in process mining today.
That's a great question as well. Artificial intelligence nowadays can be applied in many different ways, but I think one of the ways that I mentioned is the way that we can apply artificial intelligence to understand certain flows of information, okay, that cannot be accessed nowadays. But with certain technologies, leveraging artificial intelligence, we can generate this unstructured content that can be understood by the algorithm, okay? And this information can be fed later into the process mining. So at the end, we see artificial intelligence as a complement of different technologies. For instance, in process mining, we have one specific model which is called Forecast Engine, which uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to forecast, to prevent and to foresee, to predict, the outcomes of a given process. Nowadays, artificial intelligence, at least from my experience, is all over the place. We are also applying in process mining and also in other projects with natural language processing for Arabic in specific processes where documents needs to be read or emails or video chat conversations. It's really a key topic and needed, absolutely.
Okay, great. And one more question is about Arabic language. How much this data mining processes can utilize Arabic data or data that's in Arabic in good manner, or how mature is that?
This is a great question as well, and we are fully ready. We are already processing processes where we are ingesting data in Arabic, and we are completely, very specialized in when it comes to the Arabic world. Right now, we are working with several companies, organizations, and even government of Saudi for different projects where we are reading Arabic in different dialects, Arabic dialects, and feeding all this information into the robot process automation or process mining technologies to then action in a given process.
Okay, great. And so let's ask you another question: is what are the key challenges actually to succeed in data mining?
In mining processes, it's a
mining
great
process. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a great question. For me, the key projects is number one to me. Please get support from chair, executive level. You really need to have support, because then you can go to business users, and you can meet together culture. I love it. This is really important. If the organization doesn't have, culture resistance, if you face those problems, to be honest, I think it's better to not invest your time there. But nowadays, I think in this country, in this region, we have exceptional leaders as well. We also admit that in certain organizations, we may face this culture problem, resistance, and not willing to at the end is to work and to improve. But there are many. I think it's the majority of organizations nowadays are led by very professional people that is committed to the country and to the kingdom to achieve this 2030 vision. At the end, we want to help improving, right? So if you have the right stakeholder at your side that is willing to support you, because this is a hard work, you're going to be facing really challenges when it comes to the persons, when it comes to data gathering. It's a hard work, but it really generates enormous outcome. We're talking about millions of US dollars or SAR or whatever currency you want to play. I'm talking about the US because my projects were more outside of Saudi and in Europe and in Australia. But it's really data, how support from the executive and gather the right data, and of course having the right business users, champions, we call it champions, that are going to be working with you to do this exceptional work.
Okay, great. So we have another question from Mr. Hajar about, is the mining process as a continuous process? And when you do conduct this practice actually with organizations, did you start to graduate, then you continue different projects? How you are leading this practice in organizations based on your experience?
Yeah, I think at the end, 2 years back, it was difficult, at least from my side, it was difficult to identify a process excellence, process improvement team at that time. I'm talking about 2 years back. Nowadays, we can see already process improvement teams. So this is in fact a project that can be started like ad hoc, and on a project timely manner, with a beginning and a finish and an end. But at the end, it's going to be incorporated. I think from our experience, the companies, the corporations that have incorporated this technology for their projects, they have seen the technology running. Guess what? They ended up training people who are daily using process mining to continue, doing some simulations, because it's super easy to use from a user standpoint. They keep on just like looking for potential improvements that can be added to the new projects, to the new process that are starting to live in an organization. At the end, every organization is an alive entity, right? That is constantly changing, as well as they are doing our regulations are constantly changing. So we strongly believe that process mining and process improvement and process intelligence it's already a component in the organization, and it's going to have its own division or department.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much. Actually, it really was a very insightful presentation. I don't know, some people have asked to share the presentation with them. In case you are, you can do that. Please share it with me or with Ibrahim, Dr. Ibrahim, and we can share it with the representative via email. Also, on the YouTube, you will find the recording for the session on BMI KSA YouTube channel. So really, thank you very much. In case you have final comment to comment or something like this, it will be our pleasure to hear from you.
On my side, I want to thank you very much. Let me just answer the last question. And the public sector is still a lot of work to do, to be honest. It's still very unknown. So go out. If you can start talking about process mining, I'm sure that you can receive a lot of attention, because not everybody. It's strange to find stakeholders and executives with the knowledge of what is process mining. Thank you once again, Mr. Mohammed, for this opportunity to the PMI chapter in Saudi. I'm really excited to have him being here, and really looking forward to, inshallah, to do many projects together and to have many wins, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.